I haven't got my hat. I look like you, but from the past. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to the Age of Sigmar Monday show, and I'm joined by my great friend, Mr. Nathan. Name of the show, Prescott. Nathan, what's going on?
Hello. All good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great because I just want to congratulate Shugo in the chat who just got married. Congratulations to Shugo. Yeah.
Well,
I'm doing really well. I'm a little bit
skills.
hype because I've just come off having done the first Age of Sigmar 3 band show ever, and I'm very
Yeah.
like I forgot how exciting it is. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially when you get to talk to Nico. He's a fun guy.
Yes,
That was great to see him. And obviously Andy. Andy's
really good. Yeah.
good lad. But yeah, I've not seen Nico in ages. It was great.
How
to see
long's it been?
I don't know. Probably thousands of years now. I don't know. It was a long time ago in a different place.
Previously, a team member of ours.
Yeah. Clash of Swords or something, wasn't it? Or no, that was whatever the team one was. What was the team one called? Yeah, that's it. Firestorm
That was
Falls.
like 5 years ago. It's how long me and Nathan have been playing Age of Sigmar a long time. Yeah. This was even before official points, but great times. Had by all.
Yeah. No points.
So today's show, for all the Age of Sigmar fans out there in the world, is we're going to be finishing off our tier list. Both James and Dan are away today. And so you've just got the old school crew, the To Become One, the Nathan Prescott and the Rob Syme show. So expect us to just chill the fuck out. From off stage, thank you, Matt. I've got myself a ginger beer. Appreciate you. What a legend. So we're going to be we're doing the tiers, but we'll also be going through the news. And in the news, there are some tiers as well, Nathan, to talk about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So let's just get it out there straight away. Kill Team is on pre-order this week, and it looks like it's on pre-order for 2 weeks, which means we probably aren't going to be getting the KRULEBOYZ or the Stormcast Battle Tomes on pre-order until the 28th of this month, which means we probably actually won't get them released until September. So that's sad face, I think, because it feels like it's, I don't know how you feel, but it feels like it's been a long time from release to from Age of Sigmar to starting to get some of those first battle tomes, right?
Yeah. It feels like we've been waiting for those for ages. Yeah. That's a bit of a bummer. Yeah. Come on, you guys, pull your fingers out. We want them KRULEBOYZ and whatever else, Stormcast, Dragons, etc. Yeah. But mainly vultures.
I think mainly vultures. Hey Trog, thanks for subscribing. Hey, thanks everyone for tuning in live, by the way. As Nathan fiddles with his microphone, I just want to let you all know that you could obviously listen to this as a podcast and listen to that quality audio at any point, as well as me opening this can. Thanks Warchevy for subscribing. Subscribing. Yeah, I've said that right, I think.
That'll do. Thanks for being a sub.
Thanks for being a sub. To all the DOMs in the world and the subs, love to you all. It feels like a long time. It feels like a long time waiting for the new Stormcast book, if I'm going to be honest. Like a lot to wait for, but we did get some KRULEBOYZ news today. And I think we're just going to have to deal with it, right? And it also probably a long time to actually play them, because obviously at our events we do no FAQ, no play. So that would mean release of the book being September means you're probably waiting 2 to 4 weeks for the FAQ, which means you're probably not going to see them actually played on tabletops until October. Now, obviously, some places are 100% going to allow the book before the FAQ. I personally don't operate under that, and I think that's sad, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and obviously some people will be playing with them just casual, until then. But yeah, you probably won't see many at tournaments until, October time. It's a long time, isn't it?
Really long. Big shout out to Bobbin, making me take some drinks. Thanks, Bobbin. Yeah, it's a long time. But we did get some KRULEBOYZ news, and would you like to go through the KRULEBOYZ news, Nathan? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Let's
I
do
think. Oh no, I did a thing. 1 second, Nath. Hold on. I've been messing around with transitions and stuff. Okay, right, KRULEBOYZ. Let's talk through it. So we found out about Gobsprak and his use of the swampy goodness. Basically, we found out about today. So this was featured on the Warhammer community site today. We'll just skip through a lot of this stuff. But apparently, this is a cool little bit of narrative I liked. With an arcane gift for languages, we knew this already from another community article. Gobsprak acts as a translator for Kragnos, the End of Empires. As his shaman also claims to speak for Mork, he has direct lines to two gods of destruction. And I just kind of want to ask the crowd on Twitch. Guys, ID, hello, hope you're well. And also you, Nathan. Like, what is, like, Kragnos... Like, I don't imagine he wants, like, things translating that he isn't able to, like, really succinctly put by punching stuff. Like...
Yeah, can't imagine he sits down and has a chat with very many people. So, does Gobsprak, is he supposed to just fly around with him? And whenever he needs to talk to somebody, then... he flies down. I guess most people could say that they translate for him because he probably doesn't stop to talk to anybody. You could just say, "Yeah, I'm a translator for that guy."
Yeah.
And you get away with that job all the time.
Are you saying he's lying? Because that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, yeah. Him.
He's like, Kragnos is just in the background going, whoa, 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 whoa. And then the Fistmort goes, he says you should actually go get me a sandwich. And also, he's really unhappy with this, how these bones are put around here. Pile them over there. Like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's just lying, right?
Yep, that's it. He's just pulling a quick one.
Yeah, okay. I like that anyway. I thought that was really fun. Right, so he's got some new abilities. Let's talk about this. Well, I don't know if he's got an ability because there's a little. Where did we find out about it? Yeah, he's accompanied. So Gobsmacker, whatever his name is, Gobsprak, is accompanied to battle with his grot attendant, Wrinklefinger.
Good, Wrinklefinger.
Big
Where
fan.
does Wrinklefinger sit?
Where does he sit on the mount?
Is he in there somewhere?
Yeah, he's on top, I think. Yeah, he's like there's a guy like there's a grot with like got his little head underneath a bit of cloth. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, feel the power of my Wrinklefinger is what you should definitely scream whenever you use the ability. Mac Readiness has nailed that. That's this is my strong hand. This is my Wrinklefinger.
Are you ready for the Wrinklefinger?
Get ready for the Wrinklefinger, kids. So he has his own secret weapon, right? The Screaming Mandrake.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And while it may look harmless, this root yelps so loudly when it's squeezed that it puts enemy casters right off their game. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can imagine that.
Me too. So the Screaming Mandrake, I'll read it out. Wrinklefinger carries with him a hideous root that emits a shrill cry when squeezed or pinched. I think I've got a mandrake.
A Wrinklefinger, yeah.
I think I've used my Wrinklefinger on myself before. The awful sound wreaks havoc on the concentration of enemy wizards who are trying to cast spells.
Yeah.
Isn't a Screaming Mandrake plant not something lifted straight out of Harry Potter? Pete says. Yes, Pete. It's 100% IP theft out of Harry Potter. 100%.
Yeah.
But
and so is the Wrinklefinger, I'm sure.
What Wrinklefinger?
No, that was a different film. Sorry. Yeah. Carry on.
Nathan, what? No, Nathan, tell me which film it was.
I don't know. It's just a website. There's loads of Wrinklefingers. Anyway, carry on.
So hopefully Games Workshop won't get sued by a litigious IP company for stealing that. But the Screaming Mandrake allows you, once per battle, sad face for all the people hoping this isn't the bin book, very or often the once per battle starts in those. But that's fine. We'll skip it. When this unit attempts to unbind a spell, you can say that it is using a Screaming Mandrake. And if you do so, the unbinding roll for that attempt is made with a 3d6 instead of 2d6, right?
Yeah.
Which is good with the Mork Says No ability, which is on his War Scroll, which is each time this unit unbinds a spell, the caster suffers d3 mortal wounds. With an unbinding roll of a 10, the caster suffers d6 mortal wounds. So you're most likely, once per battle, to be able to cause d6 mortal wounds to an enemy wizard via an unbind, which is a pretty great ability, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. Got to be happy with that. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Obviously there's some wizards are probably not going to be that bothered by that, but yeah, it's good. I like it. It's I don't think it's too overpowered really.
Yeah.
But it's still a nice little threat, isn't it?
I don't think it's too strong.
No,
I don't think it's too strong. It's a nice and it also it's got a chance to either happen or not happen. Still, even though you're rolling 3d6, anyone who's played with Squigs and has moved 3d6 will tell you it's not often 18.
No, not even when you use the wrinkle finger. So yeah,
not even when you use the wrinkle finger. Anyway, so that's pretty good. There was also something up here as well. About Gobsmack himself. Along with his ability to prevent high places, Mathemork is also fairly tasty on the tabletop. Gobsmack prefers to control the flow of battle with his common magical tricks rather than using raw power and huge choppers. Something makes me think he's terrible in combat, is what I'm going to say. That sentence. Yeah.
Although
go on.
They do mention something about where he hits people with his stick, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he carries a bogbark staff with a range of 3 inches, so it's a really long staff. And it does D3 damage with each bonk.
What does it do?
It does, so bogbark staff does a bonk that does D3 damage.
A bonk. So let me tell you this right. He's got a bonk that does D3 damage and a wrinkle finger that hurts himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it puts other people off their game.
Puts other people. Dydron thinks that's a particularly weak bonk, and I think I agree. Minifilm, I hope you are well. Thank you for resubscribing. They say the Banner Blade was no slouch in combat. I would take that as they put the articles as gospel. Fair, Shugo. Super fair. I think that's okay. The other thing about his bog staff is it's 3-inch range on that weapon.
Yeah. It's a really long stick.
But the Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon has got a lance.
Yeah.
1-inch range.
Yeah, but he just holds onto it while he punches people in the face, whereas this person actually uses the stick to hit people.
I imagine...
It's user error. Vampires, they don't know what they're doing.
But swamp bogglers, they're very, very conscious.
They know all about them tool things, yeah.
Well, we've already established this guy's a genius. He's already lying. He's already... Kragnos must be so confused. Kragnos is just running around, just, punching everything he sees. And then there's always a bird in front of him and, just saying stuff. And Kragnos is like, what the fuck is this guy saying? I got no clue. No one understands me. My whole race is dead. And this fucking guy is just telling
trying
jokes.
To catch the stupid budgie, and it keeps flying away and making people do stuff before I get there.
Anyway, all right. So there's that, and then he's also got a spell which we've seen previously, which is Summon Boggy Mist, which is cast on a 7. You add 1 to charge rolls for friendly KRULEBOYZ Uruks on the battlefield, and subtract 1 from charge rolls as well. Now we've already seen this on the War Scroll for the other, the Swampcaller Shaman, of course.
Yeah.
But you probably don't care about that very much because you're probably going to be trying to be cast in. You're not using him for that, I don't think. It's not really a spell that you overly care about or tech into, right?
Yeah, so he's got the same spell as the Swampcaller Shaman then.
Yeah.
Because that's the War Scroll spell then, is it?
Yeah, for both.
Mm-hmm. Oh. It's a bit sad that they've both got the same spell.
Well, then also the the guy on Donkey Dog. I love how I'm collecting them. I haven't learned the names yet. Can I tell you why I haven't learned the names? Because they're not in the fucking app. Right? Today, I was doing the list review show. I was doing the fucking Stat Center show for Age of Sigmar, and I was like, oh, because someone's running like. Because honestly, taking MSU Annihilators is genuinely like a good Stormcast build at the moment. Seeing it like. And I was like, oh, what do Annihilators do? And then I Googled it. Oh, no, sorry. I used that app, and it didn't tell me, and I was livid. Like for a good 5 minutes, I had to walk away. I was like, I'm fucking sick of this. Yeah, and then I just Googled it, and it showed me anyway. So if someone thinks not putting in the app is going to stop me, think again, you fucking dicks. But we'll talk about the app in a moment.
You're unstoppable. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just annoyed me. King Clargan, thank you for resubscribing, and thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been great. So yeah, he's got the same spell, but let's ignore that, right? Because he's got 2 other spells from the Lore of the Swamp. Can we talk about how good the name The Lore of the Swamp is? I would like to vote best lore name. The Lore of the Swamp, man, is good.
That's solid name. I can't think of what the other ones are called.
There's like,
I think the other ones actually in the Auric Warclans books are quite good, aren't they? What's the weird boys? The Iron Jaws one called?
Is it the Lore?
I will tell you right now. I will look right the second.
How will you find this out?
I've got the book, haven't I? In the old app, in the old days app.
What happens if the app goes away?
Oh, then I don't know. Oh no, it's just called The Lore of the Weird.
Oh yeah, the Weird's good. Weird's good.
Lore of the Weird, and the Bone Splitters one is called The Lore of the Savage Beast.
Nah, not as good. Digest Martin has pointed out that got nothing on the Lore of Gut Magic. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah, T-Man Cash is vibrant on that as well. The Lore of the Deepwood sounds cool, says Fuzzy Vibes. Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Next week's show, while we're waiting for new Games Workshop products, we will be reviewing the tier system for the different lore names for the different spell laws. Right at the bottom, Lore of Fate, just because it sucks to play against, I think. Right at the bottom. Anyway, so what you get from the Lore of the Swamp is you get Sneaky Miasma. This is we've seen 2 spells featured. Sneaky Miasma. The shaman waves his staff as if he were stirring an invisible cauldron, causing a thick miasma to obscure one of the KRULEBOYZ war beasts from view. A few moments of eerie silence follow before the monster reveals itself once more. Usually at the
Ooh.
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 Just like, so is he suggesting that there's a small mist for a few moments is what he's doing?
Now you see him, now you do. It's like a magic trick.
But not that impressive.
Well, it's a magic trick. It's a trick of magic, or a trick that's pretending to be magic, or it's really magic. You decide.
Okay. Just a big vape rip, says Pacey James. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, he's just... But what it is Sneaky Miasma is a spell cast on 6 and a range of 18 inches. If successfully cast, you pick one friendly KRULEBOYZ monster within range and visible to the caster. That monster can make a normal move, right?
Oh, nice.
Which is awesome. Now, we don't know what most of the monsters do yet, but we do know that this particular buzzard that isn't good in a combat but does have a good bonking stick has a movement of 14 inches. So that's a 28-inch move on this guy and potentially on the other buzzard as well. So if we get like a combat buzzard, then maybe that's a cool little play, right? Like you imagine like a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, but it's a KRULEBOY on a vulture sort of build.
Yeah, with some knuckle dusters having a great time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The big troll, Everblight saying as well, could also be a monster. We could also see that as could be those. We have seen like like a guy on. We talked about it last week. A guy on sort of like Swamp Boggler Monster as well. The alligator thing. That's it. Shugo. But I mean, it's cast on a 6, which is fairly low. That's not too bad. I guess it gives you like a good alpha strike potential, but it depends on what you can. We don't know what you can cast it on yet, right? So like, it's a nice thing to have in the toolbox. Better, I would say, in some instances, than a teleport.
Yeah, well, I mean the Iron Jaws have got a similar thing, don't they, with their mighty destroyers or whatever their one is called. So yeah, and it's very useful having that hero phase movement. This isn't as flexible, and obviously you have to cast a spell instead of spending a command point. But yeah, it's a good ability, especially as you can cast the Metamorphosis onto another hero and then cast this onto them. Give them an extra move if you need to get a hero somewhere.
I like it. I think it's a really good spell. It's a nice toolbox spell. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Like, it's definitely not Amethystine Pinions for poor Soulblight Gravelords, which is much worse. And it's nice. It's a nice additional piece. Whether or not it works on everything, it's not. I mean, the version for this, obviously, for Lunar Earth Realm Lords is any unit can just double their movement. And that would have been nice to see.
Yeah, but this is a hero phase movement, so you could, if you need to get a wizard within range, you just cast Metamorphosis on him, then cast that spell, then he can move up and then cast his spell. Or if you, I don't know, maybe that Nashtooth guy, if you think you've got a special build where you can do some shenanigans with him, you can get a double move. So yeah, it gives you, combining it with Metamorphosis gives you other options. And then obviously using it on the Vulture itself is really good because, yeah, they've got good movement. That's as long as they're monsters, or if not, you've got the option, obviously, with the other spell, so good.
Yeah, that's true. It makes a normal move, right? So Tom Dix is saying this gives you pseudo retreat and charge, but it would count as a normal move, therefore would be a retreat, right?
Well, you can't do a normal move because it's different. So you can't do a retreat. You can only do a more normal move.
So you wouldn't even be able to cast this and move out of combat?
No. But then that's the same with most of the destruction stuff, is they don't let you move out of combat. Yeah, like you can't teleport dudes away from combat and stuff like that.
Yeah. Normal move and retreat are different now. Thanks Everblight and Nathan for bringing that up as well. So anyway, good toolbox spell. Big fan. Really happy with that. Hoping the monsters are good. Right, and then they've got a spell called the Black Pit, which is genuinely good. The shaman taps his staff on the ground, forking out from the spot and surging towards a nearby foe. The earth turns into a noisome quagmire that sucks victims below its surface to their doom. Yeah, so
I'm pretty sure we've seen those.
The quagmire?
The Black Pit, yeah, down at Rock City on a Saturday night.
We don't talk about it.
The floor get all sticky.
We don't talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I didn't walk on normal floors until I was a man. I was raised in the Black Pit. Right. So, the Black Pit is a spell that has a casting value of 7, so it's on average to cast, and a range of 12. If successfully cast, you pick one enemy unit within range and visible to the caster. Do you know what's nice? Is it's 12 inches, not within 12, wholly within 12. That would be much harder to do.
Yeah.
And then roll a dice for each roll on that unit for each 6, and for each other roll that is equal to or greater than that unit's save characteristic, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. That's massive. So if you have 30 models with a 3-up armor save, like, you're going to take 20 mortal wounds, which is very, very solid. Especially when you can obviously double move and then Black Pit a unit, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think looks like, they're going to have interesting little tools, hopefully. So that's good.
Yeah, it's going to...
And also, targeting armor is nice, because everybody seems to be putting armor on. So, yeah. they might think twice
Yeah,
about it.
especially with, as T-Man Cash is pointing out, with the Stormcast book on the horizon, we already see good armor saves out there in the world already, right? Blood Knights, a bunch of different stuff, but it
Yeah.
doesn't work. It doesn't work on any of the god monsters or any of the character models that we're seeing that might be problematic in game at the moment. But if Stormcast does bring us units of 15 Vindicators or whatever they're called, or or any of those things, you could potentially see some good work done into those if for some reason people start building hordes of Iron Breakers and stuff like that as well, which is genuinely a good build, but probably something you're not going to see as much. But it's nice anti-meta tech, but I don't think you're seeing hordes with great armor saves. You're normally seeing elite units with good armor saves, so it's not as good as it necessarily sounds. Yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's. I should think armies that are probably not going to like it would be like cities of Sigmar and stuff like that. It's your Iron Drakes and the Iron Breakers. Those guys. I mean, all those. A lot of them have got 4-up saves, so that's like half the unit is getting, and they're all one wound, little dudes. So they're gonna not like that, are they?
Shugo's made a petition to rename
Yep.
the Black Pit as getting the fucking sea spell. Maybe, like, if you made all of your KRULEBOYZ pirates, because there's swamps near the coasts, right?
Yeah, like mangroves. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you could get away with that. Say that's where you get your Mandrake from for your wrinkle finger to do its thing.
Yeah, we've also seen that he's moves 14 inches. He's got a staff that does D3 damage like most wizards. So he's definitely not going to be a combat character. And we also found out that he's a 2-cast wizard. So cast 2 probably unbinds 2. And the unbinds 2 is really nice because obviously every unbind is going to cause mortal wounds in return against your opponent. But it doesn't necessarily sing to me at the moment as a piece. Obviously the model's fantastic, but a mounted wizard generally like needs to bring a lot to the table. Like, for example, like a Vampire and Zombie Dragon is really a melee unit that's also a wizard. Like you don't like. Whereas if you take some of the larger casters, like even a Keeper of Secrets is a wizard in addition to being a melee unit. Is really where I'm at. Whereas like I wonder if this is going to be a fairly expensive wizard that doesn't do tons. Like, and it's not necessarily great anti magic because you've got once per battle 3d6, then the rest of it you just roll in just to be there, right? So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, as normal. Unless he's got other pluses and minuses to his stuff, or if they've got access to those other than the wrinkle finger, obviously. But it's unlikely that they'll have that as well. And then it depends on how good the vulture is at
Melee.
killing stuff
100%.
as well.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And Rob Kelly's made a really good point. Depends how.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
very
depends how many
fast.
points he is, but it could be cheap, fast option. Kind of like we're seeing the Chaos Sorcerer Lord on Manticore, which got cheaper. Generally, we're seeing that making it into lists at the moment. But we rarely see the Battle Mage on Griffin for Cities of Sigmar as an example, whereas you normally will see like the Hurricanum, because the Hurricanum's like a triple threat, right? Plus it's quad threat, it's a quad threat. Plus is to cast for wizards nearby, is a wizard, is a shooting unit, is a buff piece, all in one battle cart. Like, it's just 11 out of 10 stonks. So I'm just hoping this guy has more. Like, he has an aura that does something around him. He's able to, like the other shaman is able to like make it so units do more mortal wounds, anything like that. More stuff like that would be good, right? Yeah.
Just depends on points and stuff. So hurry up and get that book out.
Well, a month. Like, no, what is it? 3 weeks. If it goes up for pre-order on the 28th, we'll hear all of the reviews will come out on the 28th, which would be good. All right, so that's that. There's not tons to take away from that, but there you go. It's looking. I'm just excited for it all, right?
Yeah. Great model.
Great model. Really looking forward to it. So no other news, I think, Nath. And we can get into the tier show unless you want to talk about community comp.
Um, sure, if you wanna. I don't mind. I mean, do we need to talk about it? Have people not talked about it relentlessly?
For how long?
I don't know how many people for however long they've talked about it. I don't know. I wasn't listening. Um, yeah, I can't make that tournament that weekend. I'm busy, so unfortunately, extra few points worth of crops
Yeah,
would be nice.
yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. Yeah.
Like, do you have like question to you? Like, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts? Like, this is where I'm at. Yeah. Like,
On comp
on
in
comp in
general,
general.
uh, I don't think it's something that should be discounted as a thing ever. Um, and obviously some people comp stuff just to try and give their tournament like a unique edge, which is
Hmm.
fair enough, quite cool. I mean, you've had those guys in Australia. Some of them allowed you to bring the anvil, the
There's our
apotheosis
good friend Chris
dudes,
Welfare. Yeah.
and it sounded like a bit of a fun thing. Obviously, if you want like everything to be consistent so you can do it for stats, then you probably don't want there to be comps, or if there is a comp, you want everybody to use the same comp. So yeah, it'll affect stats across the board. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I quite like going to like Realms at War and the narrative ones, and that is just massive comp because that's how they turn it into a narrative thing. By just making their own game for different things. So yeah, I personally I enjoy it, but I could see some people obviously don't enjoy it, which is fair
Yeah.
enough.
I think.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm non-pulsed
You're
by the
non-pulsed.
thing.
I think I'm non-pulsed too. We'll talk about. I'll give context for everyone in the chat because Shugo has asked a question. Sorry, what's community comp? It's effectively when a TO or tournament organizer has decided to affect some changes in the game separate from Games Workshop. So you're working under a comp pack effectively. Now, in old Warhammer Fantasy Battle days before Age of Sigmar, we had comp packs of all varieties, the most famous being Swedish comp. And in 40k, you also had old ITC, which was a comp pack for 40k because the game basically didn't work. Kind of. You also had the WTC comp system as well. And that was the interesting thing from 40k. To give an example that isn't Age of Sigmar, previous to 8th edition, previous to 9th edition 40k, where ITC were bought out by Games Workshop and therefore like they signed a non-compete uh, to write no additional comp packs, quotation marks needed, on all of that. You saw two real schools of 40k. You had everyone in Europe playing under their compact for WTC, ETC format, and everyone in America and Australia and other places that bought into the ITC compact. And you also even had other ones, because Spain has a huge 40k community. And the reason I bring it up is because, to touch on Nathan's point, I think one of the detracting conversations about comp is that it might necessarily fracture the game state. So I'm playing a game of Warhammer Age of Sigmar in the UK is the same as someone playing it in Australia or Japan or Sweden or anyone else in the world. That's not to say that there haven't been people, like Nathan has said, who've already instigated compacts previously in loads of different ways. Sweden, fucking guys in Sweden, I could just talk about them all the time. Like, there's a bunch of different stuff. I guess it's you either take it or you leave it, right? You buy a ticket to an event that has a comp pack, or you don't buy a ticket that has an event to the comp pack. They're inherently I guess the criticism of compacts is that they're inherently biased because you can't not be subjective, and you can't be objective effectively. So your singular bad experiences might inform your comp pack in a bunch of different ways, without really understanding like the whole game. And I think it's impossible. As someone who tries their hardest, by the way, like to understand the whole game, like when we do the stat center and the other stuff, I try and look at as many lists and different people's like thoughts on everything as I can. Like even I'm like, oh, this seems egregious or this seems over the top. But like the whole game is inherently unbalanced. If you listen to the 500 Days of Warhammer show I talked about, I feel all of the game systems are inherently imbalanced, so we should all just have a laugh anyway. So I kind of like, for someone who wants to do the stats, it's a huge problem. But for someone who just wants people to have fun, like, give a fuck. Like, as long as everyone's having fun at an event, like, and it's not someone using it to their own advantage, which I don't think is the situation. Like, I think it's super okay. Like, and I don't really give a fuck. Like, truth be told, there are much bigger issues in brackets competitive Age of Sigmar than the shitty armies getting 150 points or 100 points. And also, like, could you do less? I mean this seriously. Could you give Sinesh less? Like 100 points? What's even 100 points, man? Like, what's even 100 points is what I'm going to say. Nothing. I don't know if you could even do less. Like, I think the very minimum you would give them is 200. Like, all the way up to 500 is where I'd probably go. And that's the inherent problem with something like a compact, is no one ever agrees. So what happens is you get different people in different places all over the world who start having their own opinions on everything. They think that they know what's going on and what the situation is, and then it snowballs from there, and then you get divisions. People are, I'm not going to that tournament, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And then the kind of like worst bit is, because you're really doing the job for Games Workshop, they don't have to comp anything. And by comp we mean do FAQs. They don't have to balance or attempt to balance their own game. Not that I think that they try to do that anyway. So obviously that's a bit of gaslighting by me. That's a fool's gambit, because in no way do I think that they're ever trying to balance their game at any point. And I mean that for every moment of all of Age of Sigmar. Up until this point, someone asked me the other day, they were like, at what point, Rob, do you think that they've genuinely tried to make an effort to balance the game properly? And balance the game properly, I would give them a 0 days if they ever tried that. Like, 0. So it doesn't really matter. Like, just roll your dice and have some fun and build your armies and have a good time. So I think I don't care is where I'm at, Nath, if I'm honest. Sorry, I rambled a lot there.
Yeah, that's all right. Non-pulsed.
Yeah, non-pulsed.
Yeah,
it's a long way of saying non-pulsed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think if the timing was better, then I had the opportunity, I would go to the Facehammer event that we're talking about, just because, you know, there are normally quite a few dudes that go to those events that I like hanging out with, but I'm busy that weekend, so I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and there are other TOs, I'm sure, conversing about it as well. I think the worst bit is when a TO just takes umbrage with something, right? And it's a bit, like, it's also very early into it. Like, there's some other really good arguments. It's really early into the edition. I think that's super fair. You don't really know what the stats are on anything. That's super unfair. It's based on no data at all in any way. And also, like, the community pushback's a bit fucking... Do you know what? To a bunch of people in the community, you could all fuck off. This is from me, personally. Because when we were talking about Sinesh stats at 70%, and people were like, no, maybe don't ban them. It's not fair to the people who own them. Like, you can definitely fuck off. Because, like, if you're advocating that this is cool, but in every way think my call to have Sinesh banned at 70% plus win rate was out of order, you're definitely an idiot, and I don't need to listen to you ever again in my life. So, like, because it's not that imbalanced at the moment. The game's just got some strong units, but the game's always had strong units, right?
Yeah. So, well, yeah. I mean, people can mess about with it and experiment with things here and there and see what happens, I guess. But yeah. I don't think, like you said, I don't think the comp things that they suggested were too extreme either way. I mean, some people that were going to take loads of foxes might be considering that again. But, you know, that's not really a problem for most people. Most people, even that play those stupid elf things, what they're called, Lumineth. I don't think that's the most popular build anyway. So, yeah,
No,
that's fine.
no, I don't think it is the most popular build either. They're also not doing that well at tournaments. This is also really important. Like, they're also not doing well. Disco Rat, what up? Thanks for resubscribing. Big love to you, and thanks everyone for joining us. So again, it's early into the edition to be making comp calls. I really do think that. I really do. But I don't hate the idea of giving additional points to units that are underpowered and armies that are underpowered and armies that are underpowered. But you would need to do that based off data, right? Like, up until Math Mallow kicking ass with his Sylvaneth, like, you pretty much thought, like, going from 2 into 3, you thought Sylvaneth were like, meh, right? Their win rate in 2 was low at 40%. So then you would think, oh, well, they're going to get some extra points going into 2. You don't even know how Gits can play the secondaries and the battle tactics. And you would be able to tell me better than anyone, Nath. I think Slanesh is just super overcosted anyway. But then you're also not bringing down armies that are good, right? Like, if you were doing it properly, if you were being thorough, you would be like, cool, we're going to bring the points down on Tzeentch. Definitely, probably Seraphon and also DOK can come down some points as well. Even if you're going to do something as nominal like 100 points, I don't think it makes any difference. But like, I honestly don't think those 100 points makes any difference. But like, you could. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. Be interesting to see how it goes. Yeah.
But yeah, be interesting. I don't think the thing is, I think it makes no difference. Like, that's the point. It makes no difference.
Oh yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it does. If such a well, some of the things some people might feel are extreme, but in general, I don't think they are. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't see. That's the thing. I don't think it makes it that interesting. Is my point. Like,
I'll be interested to see, like, if it changes up what we think, what armies people are taking and stuff like that, or if people are still going to take
an
those.
extra 150 points it gets. Is that really going to mix it up?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, will it? I don't. A lot of people, like in the Gets chat, were saying, well, it's just an extra unit of trolls. So, will that mix it up? But then, there were 2 troll players that went to the Carnage game, and they said a lot of their games were really tight. So maybe an extra 3 trolls might have tipped the balance in their favor. They might have gone 3-2 instead of whatever they were going. I think they won 1 game each. So maybe they would have won an extra 2 or 3 games. If the games were that close.
Yeah,
so,
true. I guess we'll see.
You can't say until we see it, and that's why I'm interested to see what happens. If people will change their lists, and if it'll actually result in a change.
Fair. I just don't think it will result in enough. Like not to be rude, Nath, and there's nothing but love with me for this. But having Gits go from 2-1 to 3-2 doesn't really tickle any part of me emotionally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, no, but I mean, obviously the Gits player would rather win 3 games than 1 game on his weekend. So yeah, or her weekend.
It's true.
So
it's true. Yeah, I think maybe just for global like metagaming, it doesn't really like factor into my.
No, but it's potentially making the game enjoyable for those people, which is.
And actually, Lex's point is really solid as well. Problem is we don't have enough data to set a baseline yet. How do we know these changes are positive or negative? There's also a really solid point from there as well. Like, we haven't even got data on if games are finishing. That's massive. I know we're in the weeds now, but let's fucking go in there. Let's get right into the swamp and start swimming around in the boggy mist. Yeah, is in launch in 9th edition 40k. One of the key conversations coming out at the start were games finishing and going first and second, and how much of effect either of those 2 had. And I know no one's tracking that data at the minute. Like, there's no one. Like, and there aren't enough 2-day events to drag that data in, and 3-day and 1 day is just whatever. Like, for stats, they really are. And so, like, it's based on nothing. It's a reaction based on nothing, and so the effect you can't gauge because you haven't set a baseline. You're like, I can't wait to see what happens based on my no information going into it. But there is some events like we got like we got 300 player events in the US this coming weekend, right? So like that's going to start to give us some sort of baseline going forward, which is quite nice. But then if everyone does it, there's no baseline ever. So then you're basing it off nothing all of the time, which I like. Can I just put my flag in the ground here? I like that. Just be wild. Just be like a fucking mad TO who's like, all iron jaws, extra 500 points. Fuck you. Like all the time. Yeah, just fucking get in there, man. Just get in there. Just go nuts with it. Really into that. That's super fun.
Yeah.
And then I can have some guy message me and be like, Rob, I won my event with Nighthorn. And I'm like, oh my God, what's your list? And then he sends it me and I'm like, dude, this is 3,000 points of Nighthorn. He'd be like, I know. You're allowed 1,000 extra points of Nighthorn at this event. How good am I? I'm like,
Pretty good, because there was only 9 there.
Just 10 Nighthorn players play 3,000 points.
That's when you find out who's the best. The level player field, eh?
Do it at random on the day so people don't plan for it. That's even better. You just don't tell people before they turn up. Is also today. No all-out defense command ability. Good luck, everyone. Have a great game. This round, no unleash hell. Everyone have a great time. This round, no command abilities. Good luck. Fucking good luck, boys. He did that at an event. What event was it? Adepticon. Like, I was doing the coverage, so it must have been maybe 2017. Like, every round, he would just randomly announce something fucking... Something that was like, the hills do this now. And I was like, where are we? What mad fucking wow. I was like, is Joe in the chat? Joe, is that true? I think I remember that right. It was nuts. Like, I remember being like, holy fuck. Each list. Anyway, enough on that conversation. But it's a fun chat to have. And ultimately, as long as people are having fun at events, who gives a shit? Yeah.
That's it.
And the global stats will take care of themselves because we'll just omit them from the results because they're not allowed to be part of the results, right? You have to have a baseline, otherwise you just can't be in results. That's how things work. Like, because it's aberrant data. Like, you wouldn't let like a bunch of 1,000-point events into your stats list. It would be weird, I think. Like, same with 2 list events. Just like, doesn't matter. They don't, like, it's a cool idea. Like, because that's a cool idea. That's some comp that's come up before, right? Yeah. All right, so should we get on with the tiering show? Tears for Days.
Yeah. Let's start crying about stuff. I'm just going to turn the light on so I can see what I'm looking at. Oh, it's on. Oh, that's great. When did that happen?
Adepticon has the most house rule missions than any other event. Default, that's true. This could be amazing to Rogue Stream. That does sound like game mode instead of comp for all that. Yeah, I like Darker Design's idea. This round, play your opponent's army. Good luck, generals. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they did that at an Australian Masters during 8th edition. They made people play with the other people's armies. Yeah.
Have you? Thanks, guys, Ivy, for donating $3.69 to the show. You fucking babe.
Or they randomly allocated. Everybody wrote lists and brought them, and then they randomly allocated the lists to the players.
Owen did that at the beginning of the year, didn't he? Darren, Owen, and Adam Mumford. They did the Secret Santa where I think Darren and Adam wrote lists on TTS, and then everyone else just got randomly assigned a list, and it was a fucking nightmare, and they had a great time.
Yeah. These are the things that people get up to when they can't go to work and do a proper job.
You can't go to work. You can't get anywhere.
Yeah, just invent strange things to do. No, I'm joking, obviously. But yeah. I mean, you can all do all sorts of weird and wonderful things with the games that we play. Our toy soldiers.
Thanks, Starlaw and Ernst, for subscribing. Also, I just want everyone to know that getting extra points for your Destruction faction is one of my favourite ways of playing Warhammer. Arguably, the only way I ever get good at Warhammer is if you give me extra points to play a Destruction army. But that's a throwback. That's a throwback. All right, let's do tiers. Now, we did order last week, right? So I'm just going to write down a little show note for our man John, 54 minutes. So if you've 54 minutes. So if you're just joining us, so I'm just going to, we'll do it at 55. I'm just going to end this podcast now for the podcast bros. Thanks for listening. I hope you had a great day. Loads of love to you. Slap your own ass because you're so fucking cute. You're so gorgeous fellas. And also YouTubers.